Welcome or welcome back to the Light Renegades. My name is Starr. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. To those that might be new, we are the Light Renegades. We are a collective of Pleiadian beings, bringing you information from the stratospheres that are ever expanding. We are disclosing cosmic secrets and hopefully bringing forward information that's going to allow for you to stand ever more in your sovereignty and in your power. That being said, if you are here for the first time, I have a feeling that this message is going to be particularly on point and relevant to where we find ourselves right now. This is an impromptu message from the Angelic Council, which is headed by Michael, Metatron, and Lucifer at this time. And I know that might split the crowd somewhere. / you can go ahead and watch a series. It is me channeling expressions of the darkness, getting to know the dark, getting to know shadow aspects, getting to know Lucifer's energy somewhere and in its present given time, and what that means for us as a collective moving forward in a space of unity consciousness and moving into 5D expression is what I want to share. So please go easy, please go well when stepping forward into this space. I know that it might be quite challenging for some right now where you find yourself, and I'm not entirely sure what the Angelic Council want to bring forward. I'm going to do a live channeling today, but I think it is going to be a message that will help the collective seed in a deeper state of unity where you might find yourself right now. So if you give me a moment, I'm going to call in the Angelic Council and see what they wish to share for us all today. Thank you. We wish for all to know that every bit of destruction that you see in your present given time is for purpose. Anything that you see collapsing is here for the highest good of all. We know that so many of you feel into the energies and the essence of souls lost, souls grieving, souls leaving present given time. And we wish for you to remember that soul is eternal. Any given space, any given time that a soul passes over, transitions, they are merely morphing form, they are merely shifting, changing, vibration, frequency, into being something else. All souls here in the present given time have said and agreed to be here. They've agreed to what their soul is experiencing, which means that you should be putting the weight down from your spaces, putting the weight down from the destruction that you see. Yes, many of you in the collective are here to help transmute collective energy, but it's okay to say, not today. It's okay to say, I'm not going to watch the news. It's okay to say, I'm not going to bear witness to this today, because every soul is doing as it's supposed to. We wish to remind you that soul contracts are made in the highest vibration and the highest frequency possible, and this is so that each soul can have a well-rounded experience. Some souls choose to feel such pain, such devastation. Some souls are supposed to be feeling such pain, such devastation, because that is what soul is owed to this lifetime. And karmic contracts, karmic expressions are never fully negative. It just is. This is something that we've been trying to seed through our expression over here. This is something that we know rocks the foundations of many. This understanding that everything just is. Outside of the fragments of strict doctrine, it is difficult to seed in an expression that isn't something that is difficult for the collective to receive. Doctrine served its purpose, religion served a purpose in all spaces and time to keep collective order somewhere. And we say this in the highest vibration, understanding that negative aspects of vibration have also been brought forward in those spaces. This will be something that we continue to speak of in the coming weeks. However, we felt like this week it was a message of reminding you why you are here, what it means to be a soul incarnating at this time, and what many souls have decided to partake in these lifetimes, in these years, whilst we are expanding. So many souls have decided to step forward. One might say as self-sacrificing as possible in order for others to be able to prosper later down the line. So have this in mind when you see destruction, when you are witnessing devastation. Those souls have agreed, those souls have aligned so that they can set others free, so that they can seed in a deeper expression of a lighter lifetime in years to come. Soul eternal, life eternal, expression eternal. We know that many of you have so many questions right now. What's going to happen? How is it all going to play out? What can I do to change things? Is it something that I've done wrong? Am I in lack? Am I at fault in your personal spaces? And we wish to simply say, no, you're not at fault. Everything is always playing out exactly as it is supposed to. And we know that many of you are sick of hearing this, but it's truth. Anything that you are experiencing in your present given time is there for you to seed in the highest notion of expression for your soul's expanse possible. So wherever you find yourself, whatever you are experiencing, you are supposed to be there. And we are sorry to those souls that are in seemingly such deep strife right now, such grief, such sadness, such pain. There is always a reason for such pain, and we wish to hold you. Call us in. We wish to be able to support you in your spaces. So many of you continue to suffer in silence. All you need do is ask. We will be with you. We will make ourselves known to you. This soul sat before you has been witnessing many of apparitions step forward towards her, seeing many spaces and fragments of timelines of expression open up right before her eyes. The energies that once were are incredibly heightened at this time. There is a portal of energy that opened up to you all yesterday through the 1010 expression. This is going to be something that continues for a few days more. This is something that we want all of you to harness in on. What is it that you wish to be experiencing in your present given time if you believe that everything could be as you wish it to be? What would you ask for? If you let go of the pain of this world, of the pain of this lifetime, of previous lifetimes, what would you ask for? This is about understanding that soul came here to experience, but you can also ask for a different experience if where you are right now isn't feeling in alignment for you anymore. Some souls here are trapped in the in-between, and we say trapped loosely. It is the processes of the mind that keep you stuck. You've come to a threshold, a space where you get to decide. Am I going to stay in the lack, in the perceived grief, or am I going to step forward into the light? Am I going to decide to say yes to myself, to my expanse, to the love that is potential around me? So many of you disregard expressions of joy and only hold on to the expressions of negativity. It brings you joy to feel such pain, and this is not your fault. This is where the world finds itself right now at a collective level. This is because of the negative reptilian regime. They've allowed for you to feel like sadness and negativity and grief and loss is all that you should be experiencing. And this is your reminder that this is not the case. Yes, a soul eternal, soul will suffer, soul will feel pain, feel grief, feel loss. But there is a joy that can come alongside all of those expressions, and understanding that that is a part of life, part of soul's expression, part of soul's expression. Insert what you wish there is your Mecca, as your understanding of the highest vibration at this time. We are not biased in our expression. We wish for each soul to be stepping forward in their vibration of what makes sense to you, to those around you, to you in your inherent understanding right now in this present given time. We want for each soul to just be seeding in your truth. So many of you are walking away from your truth because you feel it is just too painful. And we say, is it painful? Or are you just hitting roadblocks and challenges at this time because of where you find yourself breaking free from yourself? Some of you have so much within inside self, within inside soul, that is yet to be actualized because you have been breaking free from yourself, from the past constraints of this world, of parallel timelines, of the negative reptilian regime. But now it's time. It's time to say yes to you and to the highest vibrations possible. And we know that this word, these phrases are used and twisted and turned and seemed to be put in a negative connotation now. And we wish for everything to just be understood as possible. Yes, we wish for you to be in the highest vibration, but feeling the lowest vibration as part of soul's experience too. So harness in that truth for self and remind self every day, whatever you're experiencing, feel it, find the joy in it, feel the grief in it, feel the loss in it, and be grateful that you can feel that too. So many of you have lived many, many numb lives, And it feels incredibly crippling to feel emotion right now, because everything that you have ever felt is all coming to the surface for it to be released. We see you, dear souls, and we hold you. Those that are still seemingly in struggle of such 3D understandings, know that you are breaking free, and at some point in your journey, you will feel the shift. You will feel like you've stepped forward into a new, we promise. Yes, the world is falling down around you, but you do not have to sink into that energy of such a negative vibration. Everything just is. These lifetimes, your lifetime, will come to an end, and there is a positivity in that. There is an expanse in that that is beautiful. Cycles of life is beautiful. And we want you to remember this and to hold this in heart. It doesn't matter where you find yourself right now, as long as you are seeding in light for yourself and those around you. This is not to wish others to be experiencing anything other than what they are experiencing, and just holding space, holding compassion, and holding others in their grief and in their sadness too, and allowing for them to understand whatever they are experiencing, whatever they are feeling is okay too. So many of you have the capacity to hold so much energy and so much light predominantly. Sink back into that space. Remember who you are. Stand on the ground. Remember why you came here. These portal spaces are for you to align with your remembrance, all of your soul's lifetimes. Everything of the highest vibration that you can bring in is here for you if you decide to choose that. This dear soul has been fragmenting behind the scenes in order to step ever more into her sovereignty and in her power. This was something that she had to decide, to stand ever more in the light, although she felt in heart somewhere completely in shadow, completely in darkness. Soul decided to step forward and say, I'm willing to experience it all. I've experienced a lot of pain, but I'm also ready to seed in my light. And this is something that you're all having to decide in your spaces, in your time, now also. We decide to step forward into the light, into understanding everything just is, light and dark is, will be experienced. And that is the experience. That is life here on earth in this present given time, and you chose to experience it. Remember that, dear souls. There is so much more that we could say to harper on this narrative, but we think that best be enough for today. We'll be back again when it feels aligned. We're allowing for many of you to just feel and experience right now. There is a lot that is being brought forward in other spaces and other realms of understanding. So we will be taking a step back for a couple of weeks in order to allow other souls' expressions to seed in their truth, as we think this is the most beneficial to those in present given time. But know that we are with you. All angels aligned in all present given spaces, times, and understandings are available to you if you wish to call upon us. We love you and we see you, bright souls. We wish for you to be experiencing life as is and finding the joy in all of that. All that is possible, all that is. There is joy in sadness, there is joy in grief. Remember that. I knew it was going to be a potent message from the Angelic Council. I could feel the vibration of what was wanting to step forward. And, you know, I think that everything that is in the news of late very much took me by surprise. I wasn't aware of the destruction that was happening because I've been disconnected from mainstream media for some time. Yet somewhere I think I felt it at an energetic level. Yesterday I felt like I just wanted to burst into tears, and I thought, where is this coming from? And you know, things were brought to my attention to help me understand what is exactly happening right now. And I just thought, this is a cleansing. This is what is having to happen for us to come into balance, although it is incredibly sad somewhere. And I think this is an expression that is going to be brought forward time after time after time moving forward, is that we're going to see devastation, we're going to see destruction. Souls are going to be lost from this present given time, but they are not lost forever. It is merely a recycling. It is a reverberation, actually, is what I want to share, because recycling feels like that is taking away from soul's expression this lifetime, what they have lived. But that soul is taking on a deeper expression, a deeper understanding, and sometimes that's all soul is asking for. And it's incredibly difficult to harness in the energy and understanding of soul when we are here incarnating human with mind too. And I will say this over and over again, that the mind is an incredibly intelligent tool of itself, but it can also be a great hindrance. And I feel of late my mind has been something that has been plaguing me above all else, and I really had to take a step back and remind myself why I'm here, why I do anything that I do from a heart-centered space, and step out of the mind in order to step into unity consciousness at a deeper capacity and more compassion for myself and those around me. And the Angelic Council sharing this idea of me, fracturing behind the scenes, I've been really having to decide to say yes to leading a lighter life somewhere, and I'm going to go into that at a deeper capacity when it feels aligned. But I was faced with the option of, seeding in expressions of more of a deeper capacity this lifetime, as opposed to, I want to say, lighter aspects, and neither of these two pathways are wrong. But I was given the choice, and somewhere from a heart-centered space, it felt right for me to be stepping towards the light as opposed to the dark somewhere. And I'm not entirely sure if this is what soul agreed to before I came down here in this present given incarnation. I feel like somewhere I had agreed to something else. And teams of light have said, it's entirely up to me how I live my lifetimes, and we can't ever fully understand what is going to happen in a lifetime. We can create a blueprint, we can have, major things that we put in our records of what is going to happen, but sometimes things play out in a very different way, and we get to decide, we get to choose, and that goes for all souls that are incarnating at this time. And this feels like a wider and more expansive message for some that perhaps feel like they have taken on a different path or a different capacity. I feel like there was a timeline that opened up that was an accelerated expanse, and I think many of you in this collective step forward in that expression. So you're now witnessing the fallout of that choice in those around you. And this is not a negative aspect, it is just purely cause and effect, is what I want to share. So seed in as much light as you can in your spaces, and understanding that wherever you find yourself, in the light, in the dark, in the shadow, in the highest vibration possible, you're exactly where you are supposed to be. And I want to say that I wish I had had a wider scope of understanding when I first stepped forward into the space of the Darkness series, because now I have much more compassion for anyone that is in that space of seeding in the dark, because I know what it takes to have to stay there. And I do believe that some souls have agreed to be there as a strongholding for the light, which I know gets very expansive somewhere and it boggles the mind. But I respect all spaces. I respect everyone's life path at this given moment in time. And I like to think I always was, but I think sometimes biases takes over. And I think some of us in the collective are really having to take a strong look at oneself right now in our own perceived biasness of life and what we wish to be true, as opposed to everything just being as is. And I've really been having to sink into a space of non-attachment in all realms of all given space and time, which I found incredibly difficult, being a soul that I want to say loves so much. I've just clung on to everything of any expression of emotion for the longest time. So putting all the weight down, putting everything down of emotion has felt incredibly challenging, / felt like something that I wasn't supposed to be doing. Somewhere I think I felt my pain was something that I felt like I had to be experiencing. And I've come to the conclusion that it's not, that I get to put it down, and that I get to be experiencing that which I feel in heart to be in highest alignment for me. And I think many of you are facing this time right now, so harnessing this expression through this 1010 portal. I'm filming this on the 11th. And whenever you receive this message, this is for you in your present given space and time. You get to decide to choose happiness. You get to decide to choose a lighter expression of life. And then whatever happens from that space is supposed to happen. And, you know, this is not ideas above one's own station in thinking that you're only ever going to experience light. There will always be, you know, the darker aspect of everything out there. But if this message is for you, it's going to make sense to you. But you get to say, I want to be living as much as I can in the light. And I use the word light loosely, but I think at a vibrational understanding, we can all understand that the light feels of a higher essence somewhere, because source is inherently light, and I don't want that to take away or to trigger too many in the darker aspects right now. But I think once you seed in that expression of that you need the light somewhere, all of this will come into alignment for you. So we've kind of gone off topic with the Angelic Council meetings message, but I'm trusting in the narrative / I think that it correlates somewhere. So apologies for the tangent, everyone, but I feel like some in the collective have been having to seed in this notion for self through this 1010 portal. So harnessing the energies, I was feeling like there was going to be a 7-day grace period of this portal alignment, which is where you get to decide what you want to put down and what you wish to be stood in right now. And this idea of future space, sometimes I wish it just didn't exist, because I think we're always chasing after the next. And of course, it's great to put things into motion to be receiving that which we want to be experiencing. But I think that right now, for a little while, we just should be experiencing the now. I think there is a lot that has been falling out and around us. And I think this is a time of a pause / a release over everything else. Is what I want to share, and that's what I've been feeling at an intuitive level. That's what I've been doing behind the scenes, and it's been an incredibly challenging space, and I will share more about that when it feels aligned. I'm still going through that process, so apologies everyone to those that are in present given time. I will step forward when it feels aligned. But I think that's all from myself today and the Angelic Council, and they are completely here for you. Anything of an angelic vibration is here to support you in your realms at any given moment. All you need is ask, is what I want to share. And I didn't know that the Angelic Council were going to take a step back, but this makes sense given where I find myself in the spaces, other spaces that I'm channeling. So that's news to me in the present given time. So I look forward to bringing the Angelic Council back when it is time, but know that they are always with you behind the scenes, whether they are here in this space or not. Please just call upon them and they will be with you. But that's all for myself today, and to those in present given time, please do have a beautiful weekend. Go and do something light, go and do something fun, and remember that whatever is happening in the world is an alignment for us to be able to step forward in a lighter space later down the line. And, you know, most of us here will be back for those timelines too. Remember that, everyone. Things are having to collapse now so that we can prosper in future times. And we all knew that this was the case, but I think living it can feel quite harrowing. But this isn't the first time that we've been in destruction, and it won't be the last, is what I want to share. But we can see it in the light in those spaces as deeply as possible once we shift the narrative in mind, bring it back to heart, bring it back to soul's essence, bring it back to feeling, is what I want to share. But that's all for myself today in the Angelic Council, and I'll be back real soon. Take care.